The narcissist's communication manipulation. Don't you love waking up to a sweet text message from the person you're dating? Or getting one at night just before bed? What about a goofy selfie from them with a caption that says, "This guy can't stop thinking about you"? Or best yet, a random phone call in the middle of the day because they just had to hear your voice. I'm not going to lie, I'm a sucker for that stuff. I want to feel important. I need to know the person I'm dating thinks of me all day long because I'm thinking of him. When I'm not with him, he's on my mind all the time, and it's nice to know he's thinking about me too. I think we're wired like that. When we're in an exclusive relationship, we crave their attention, especially at first. Well, this is how our narcissist reels us in, and most people call it love bombing. The thing is, all this attention feels really good, so we message them within 30 seconds with an equally sweet text, and we respond with a goofy pic of our own, saying we're thinking of them too. Or we answer the phone on the first ring when they call, no matter where we are or how inconvenient it is to pick up. We bend over backwards to reciprocate the sweet gestures. We're blown away by how amazing this guy is, a real Prince Charming, the guy we've been waiting for all our lives. As long as Mr. Charming keeps giving us this attention, we keep giving it back. And when you're dating a narcissist, this is a flashing neon sign to them that they have us hooked. It's all part of their manipulation, and most of the time, we don't even see it till it's too late. Narcissists are sneaky fellows. They can take something, like a sweet text message first thing in the morning, which wouldn't necessarily be an unusual thing in a relationship, and twist it to use it to their advantage. I'm not kidding. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, every time they send you a text message, they wait on pins and needles for your reply. Not because they're excited to hear back from you, but because the quicker you reply, the more hooked he knows you are. This is no joke. As I'm typing this blog, I got a text from my narcissist. It says, "Just wanted you to know that you're loved," with 3 heart emojis. We've been on a break now for about a month. A long month. We're figuring out whether or not there's anything left to salvage in our relationship. My favorite narcissist, H.G. Tudor, would be so disappointed. He always says, "When you know, you go." I'm just not there yet. My point is, though, my narcissist feels me slipping away. Rather, he feels my amazing supply slipping away. So he's gone back to doing all the sweet things he did in the beginning of our relationship to try to reel me back in. So I'll tell you, I waited 20 minutes to reply. I know it's not a long time, but it's better than 30 seconds. I read the message right away, but I didn't reply. I put my phone down and walked away. I cleaned the kitchen counter. I fed my cat. I put in a load of laundry. I did whatever I could think of to restrain myself from replying immediately, because I know he was waiting for my reply. He was trying to gauge how into him I still am. Now, I've got to say, I'm not advocating playing games. What I am advocating is self-control, because the first step to getting out of the craziness is to recognize it for what it is. When you're in a relationship with a narcissist, those sweet messages and phone calls are nothing but fuel grabs. When you reply immediately or answer on the first ring, you're filling their little fuel bucket right to the brim, and you're sending them the subliminal message that you're a never-ending pool of fuel that they can dip their bucket into any time they want. Stop, because they don't really mean what they're saying. Our emotional thinking wants us to believe them. I get it. I still occasionally buy into my narcissist ploys, more often than I care to admit. But I'm beginning to see things as they really are with him, and you will too if you open yourself up to seeing it. I'm not saying that you'll necessarily be able to do anything about it at first, but just simply recognizing all these little manipulation tactics is a great first step. If you're like me, you're deep into your relationship, and now you're looking back at all the things you missed, or were too blinded by the love bombing to see. Like, I can see all the weird little nuances of his communications with me all along, even in the beginning. And the things that didn't make sense then make much more sense now. For instance, my narcissist only calls me when he's in his car. I questioned this in the beginning of the relationship, and of course, true to narcissistic form, he had a perfectly logical explanation. And he never calls me in the evenings when it would be much more convenient for me to chat. Everyone in my life kept telling me how weird this was, and I ignored them. I was so caught up in the things he was saying and how it made me feel that I was missing the clues that were right in front of me. This is exactly the way the narcissist hopes it will be. I once described it to someone like the wizard in The Wizard of Oz. You're so busy looking at the huge, amazing green head on the screen in front of you that you don't even notice the little Weasley guy controlling the operation behind the curtain. All in a day's work for the narcissist. But the narcissist isn't even done using their clever communication manipulation tactics. Once they have you hooked, they tend to switch gears. Where they once would text you in the morning, at noon, and at night with sweet little thinking of you messages, later into the relationship, those messages become fewer and fewer. I'm telling you, they do this on purpose too. They get you comfortable in a routine of hearing from them at regular times or regular intervals. You get lulled into this zone and looking forward to messages from them. You get excited when you hear your phone ding or feel it vibrate because you know when you look at it there'll be some sweet words from Mr. Charming. But one day you wake up and there's no message from him. Or you don't get your sweet goodnight text. Slowly, the regular messaging trickles off. This leaves you confused. If you're like me, you begin to obsess throughout the day over why you haven't heard from him yet. Or where was he at night that he couldn't text you goodnight? Believe me, this is a fuel grab too. The narcissist knows it bothers you when you don't hear from them. You may even send them a message asking subtly and politely what's going on, just to see if they reply. Maybe they're in a meeting, right? Maybe they're having dinner with a client. They get just as much fuel from knowing you're going nuts over wondering where they are as they would by sending you a message and getting an immediate reply. And at this point, they're probably not messaging you as often because they are already involved with, or entertaining, as my narcissist likes to call it, another source of fuel. So they're getting double the fuel dose. From the source they're entertaining, and from knowing you're wondering what's going on. This narcissistic business is tough. We empaths are naturally trusting. We trust people before they've even earned our trust. It's kind of our nature. Narcissists take advantage of that and use it against us. They say all the right things and make us feel all the warm, fuzzy things, so we ignore the obvious signals that something isn't adding up. If this struck a chord with you, you're not alone. I've been there. I'm still there. I'm working it out one day at a time and making my way out of this unhealthy relationship. I appreciate you sharing my journey with me. I'd love to hear your journey by leaving comments below. And as always, a like and subscribe would be humbly appreciated.